The World Rowing Masters Regatta is held annually and it's open to rowers 27 years of age and older. Rowers race in age categories starting at A for those with a minimum age of 27, right through to M for crews at an average age of 89 or more. This year's event concluded earlier this week in France, and the flag was handed over to South Africa, who are hosting next year's global event. Joining me from the LOC is Colleen Orsmond. A very good afternoon and welcome to Newzroom Afroka. I know that you and your team were actually in France and job shadowing, I suppose. Maybe it's not the correct term in sport, but what were some of the lessons from your trip in France?
Hi, Ellen. Thanks. Yeah, we were in fact job shadowing. That was part of what we were doing there. We were also marketing the event, so our team was kind of split across those two functions. Yeah, you learn a lot when you're on the ground. I think, we work off World Rowing provides us with a regatta manual, which, has in writing everything that you have to do, but it's very different reading it and seeing it in action. So for us, it was really good to interact with the local organizing committee in France, to interact with the athletes, with the various service providers, and you just get a sense of, I guess, some of the crunch points, the ebbs and flows of, busyness through the regatta, and really also understanding from the LOC side and the service provider side, what are their challenges, what do we need to look out for in the next year. I think we had a good sense, though, that we're well on track. There were a couple of things that were, it was good that we saw them happening this year so that we could make plans for them for next year. But in general, we were feeling pretty good that, our planning up to date is on point. We know what we're dealing with. It's going to be a slightly different regatta because it's not in Europe, so there are different logistical aspects from being able to drive a boat trailer to the regatta rather than having to ship container loads of boats over to the event. So, yeah, but it was a lot of learning. We also learned a lot through our marketing efforts because, we're talking to the athletes, the potential participants for next year and trying to understand from them what are their needs, what are their key concerns perhaps about coming, what are they dealing with, what do they have to work through to make it feasible for them. So, that was also very useful for us. And to get a sense of their level of interest, how many people are planning to come or want at least to come and participate in the event.
Let's double click on that. What were some of the surprising things that you did hear from some of the potential athletes, some of the potential participants for next year?
I don't know if there was anything too surprising. That you have your usual queries about costs. What is it going to cost them? One upside of our exchange rate is that once they're here, things are relatively cheap and affordable. So we know that we're offering them really good value on the ground once they're here. There are obviously some concerns about security. So we counter that. We're really offering sort of a door-to-door service for them, which is a little unusual for this regatta where the athletes are usually a bit more independent, but we're looking to provide shuttles from the airport between the venue and the hotel. So we did discuss that. A lot of them are just purely interested in travel. And this, Masters rowing and Masters sport is often it's sport tourism, and that's the big draw card of this event. South Africa is a bucket list destination for many people, and we're providing them with a great excuse to come and do that. So yeah. We focus a lot on tourism. They want to know where they can go, how far it is to travel, how long does it take to get to Cape Town, things like that. So on the sports side itself, there are some concerns with they have to rent boats. Are we going to have enough boats for them to rent? How much is that going to cost? So I'm not sure there was too much that was surprising us. It was in line with what we're focusing on, but good to hear it from them. At least it sort of reinforces what we're working on.
Can you give us details of the event, where, when, expected numbers of participants?
Yeah, so it's taking place from the 21st to the 24th of September next year at Roodeplaat Dam. That's our national regatta course in the country. And we are hoping for, our goal is to have 2,500, 600 athletes. We're hoping for more. We want to get over the 3,000 athlete mark. We expect around 600 of those, or we're aiming for at least 600 of those to be local athletes, and then the balance coming from abroad. It's a big ask most of the, well, 3 out of every 4 years, the regatta takes place in Europe, and that's really where the bulk of your competitors come. So we do have to work extra hard to get people over here. It's, as I said before, it's not easy for them to get here, but we know it's going to be worth it once they are here.
Roodeplaat, the last time I saw Roodeplaat, it was full of hyacinth that actually looked like a football field rather than a dam. Is the dam ready, and is it going to be ready?
We hope it's going to be ready. It's looking a lot better now. So if you went to it now, you would see that the rowing section is actually clear. But I mean, this is a constant challenge, and it's probably the biggest risk facing our event. We are working very closely with government, with the landowners at the dam. Rhodes University is helping us as well. So we are trying to get this hyacinth under control. It is an issue though, and if we don't stay on it and we don't get the support through the next year, it could stymie the event. But at the moment, it's looking good. We do have it under control, but yeah, we can't rest on laurels by any means at this point.
All right, Colleen. Colleen Orsmond from the local organising committee of the 2023 World Rowing Masters Regatta, which will be taking place in the Gauteng province. Thank you for your time here on Newzroom Africa. We unfortunately have run out of time, but we've got more time for more news, Stephen, on the pulse.